Hello and welcome back to another video. If you've been wondering where I've been over the last few weeks, I've taken a little bit of time off making videos, but I will be returning shortly with another episode of the 4-Pinter. I've just generally been enjoying playing games. I had a few friends over, been playing some PlayStation 1 link-up action, and it's been quite enjoyable. So, I've sold a bit of stuff off recently, nothing that's made a dent in the collection whatsoever, but the Atari stuff, the NES, the games for that, all the Super Nintendo games, they've all gone. I was hoping to use the proceeds to buy Gunlord and the Neo Geo AES. I'd managed to get enough money to buy the game, and then I decided the money probably better served in my bank account than in my Neo Geo AES. So that's exactly where it went. So with all of that, I've got a real mismatch of pickups here. I've got some stuff from Gunlord in Leicester, some stuff from the Carboot sales, which haven't exactly been that great, and also a few items from eBay. So we'll crack right on with it. So I took a load of PlayStation 1 games into Game World and PlayStation 2 games that I didn't want. Nothing, no standout spectacular titles there. I'd already sold quite a few on eBay and to people on YouTube. And I got about £11 trading for the ones they'd take. So remember that part of the story. So the ones they'd take got about £11 trading. They had a few items I was interested in. They had some Mega Drive titles, like Xenon 2, $4.99, and Gauntlet 4, which was about $6.99, which is very good prices for those titles. Unfortunately, when the guy got them out from the counter, they absolutely stunk of smoke. And I just said, no way, I'm not having them in my collection. So I didn't bother with that. So I said, what else have you got? And funny enough, I've seen two games in the background, box games. And I said, how much are they? He said, oh, they've just come in. He scanned them. It says $6.99 each. I said, I'll tell you what. I said, I'll put the extra in. I said, I'll buy them. So for a few pound extra, I picked up these two games and got rid of a load of games I really didn't want. Neither did anybody else. So first one was Pilot Wings on the Super Nintendo. Absolutely love this game. Classic SNES game. Fantastic use of Mode 7. One of the best launch titles of all time and very nostalgic to me. I remember when my friends had Super Nintendos, this is just the game that they got with it when they first got the machine, and it really is a fantastic game. I really enjoy playing this. So pleased to have that boxed, and $6.99 is a bit of a bargain because when I bought a loose cartridge on eBay it cost me about £6. So I'm not going to bother to get it out because these boxes are a complete nightmare. But as much as I said I weren't going to bother with SNES games that are boxed, if you get them unboxed, the cartridges are generally an horrendous colour. And certainly these two, the cartridges are in really nice condition. So I won't bother to get it all out. You've probably seen them before. It includes the instructions. So that's the first one, Pilot Wings. And the second game is not really my kind of thing, but I was just so impressed with the condition of it I decided to pick it up. And that's SimCity. Fantastic box. They actually had Super WrestleMania in there as well, but I didn't bother going for that, although I do remember it being a launch title. It appeared that someone who bought a SNES at launch, or you know, like the early games, had just traded it all in, so I was quite glad to pick those two up. So for a few pounds, I traded in loads of stuff I didn't want and got those games. So then I had a bag, I had a bit of time left on my car parking ticket. I thought I'm going to wander down to the market, take a look round, and I had about 10 games in my bag that Game World weren't interested in. Scratch discs, missing bits, broken boxes, etc, etc. So I was just looking at the market and I happened to see the guy that I first seen when I recorded that video about Leicester Market, I don't know, probably about a year ago now, and I hadn't seen him there for months and months and months. And he actually had two games there that I'd seen in that video that I really wish I'd picked up. So I was looking at them, and they were £6 each, and he said, I'll tell you what, so you can have both for a tenner. I said, I've got some games in this bag, I said, but I really don't think you'll be interested in them. And he's looking through them. He says, what do you want to do? Trade them? Sell them? I said, I just want to trade them for them two games. He says, that'll do me. He said, I'll tell you what, I said, I'll give you £5 a trade. And I mean, there was things like actual soccer and, you know, really games that you couldn't even give away. So I snapped his arm off, give him a £5 extra, and I bought these two games. I've not got the system, but you never know. If I find it, I'll have some cartridges. I used to have the system, I got rid of it because I didn't have games. So there you go. So the first one, it's for the Mega Drive 32X, and it's Star Wars the arcade game. By all accounts, not a bad game, and certainly considering it basically cost me £2.50, I was literally going to have to throw the other games away. I can't complain. And the second is Doom. So I'm going to have to get some glue gun or goo gun or whatever it's called, try and get these stickers off. I think if you peel them off, I'll end up breaking the label. But not a bad conversion from what I've seen. So I thought, why not? If he was going to take my old games, I might as well just get rid of them. So the reason I went into Game World in Leicester was actually because I spotted a game there many months ago, and the last time I seen it had been reduced by about 50%. So I was regretting not picking it up. When I went there, of course, they didn't have it. So I looked on eBay, and for £1.60 delivered, I won the auction for Hexen. Now, it's got a very bad reputation, this game, but in all honesty, I quite enjoyed playing it. I think as long as you know how to fight the people, keep backing off, don't let them attack you, it's quite easy to get some decent weapons, and then it becomes a fairly nice game. So £1.60, it was worth getting just to try, and I can confirm, in my view, it's not as bad as people say. It's not the greatest game ever, but £1.60, it's a pretty decent purchase. So moving on now. Oh no, we'll have one more eBay purchase. Really shouldn't have bought this. Because I didn't buy Gunlord, I thought, oh, gotta get something for the Neo Geo. I want a Neo Geo game. And I was looking around for something cheap, and I ended up buying the Super Spy. Now, I'm not very impressed with this game. Not because it's a bad game, because it's got infinite continues. And I mentioned this in Polar Ventress's live stream yesterday, and he just laughed at me because he just said, well, you know, you don't have to use the continues, do you? But it still does my head in. But it's in pretty decent condition. And £28 delivered. It was a buy it now best offer. The tray's a little bit cracked, but I mean, you do go to expect that. And really, historically, this is quite an important game. It's certainly one of the first person perspective type games that I can remember. Certainly in this vein. And I don't know, for now I'll keep it. It may well be a much more fun experience if you play it with two people, just one continue each. You know, see who can last the longest amount of time or something. But yeah, it's always nice to get Neo Geo AES games just because the box, the cartridge, the fact it's an arcade, you know, arcade quality game, just there, ready to play. I think it was worth grabbing. So now we're on to all Carboot sales, all Carboot sale items. So we'll start with the Game Boy game, and it's Solar Striker. Now, bit of a classic. I love the soundtrack. This was the reason that I kept my SNES in the first place, was because of that Super Game Boy, because that really is fantastic. And I'm able to play my Game Boy games, which is something that I've wanted to do for quite some time. So, pretty decent shooter. And that was, I think it was 75p. So I can't really complain at that, although the lady wouldn't go any lower on the price. So, the next item from the Carboot sale, I'm trying to remember what week they were. This was a few weeks ago. Basically, there was nothing there. I'd walked around, I hadn't bought anything, and I thought, you know, I've got up at 6 in the morning, I want to buy at least something. And I've had this game before. It's an Xbox 360 game, and my sister actually bought me it for Christmas, but for some reason I ended up selling it. I think I got fed up when people come round of them like cheap moving me all the time, but I decided I wanted it back, and that game was Tekken 6. Now I actually paid £5 for this, which is a big spend for me for a Carboot sale game. But the thing is, I looked on eBay when I decided I wanted it back, and it goes for about £10–15 for the black label. And there's no saying how good the disc is, because I am very finicky, especially when it comes to modern games. I usually only buy them brand new, but this was mint. I mean, not a mark, and I don't think the kid ever played it. So I was happy enough to give him a £5. I didn't bother arguing. So I think it was a few weeks after that I went to a Carboot sale, and again, it's just not been very good for me the last few weeks. I think since I picked up the Atari Jaguar, I've just been on a run of bad luck. Even though the weather's been with us, the luck has not. So I went, I think on a Saturday, to a different Carboot sale. But it might have been last week. And there was a guy there, and he had loads of games, and he basically selling them for 50p each. He offered me an entire box full. There must have been about 50 games in there. He said, just give us a tenner, you can take the lot. And I thought about it for a moment, and then I thought, do you know what? I've just got rid of all the games that I really didn't want in my collection. Do I really want to get a load more and have all the hassle of trying to get rid of them? I mean, you perhaps could have made 40 to 50 quid, I don't know, but in the end, I thought about it and thought, nah, I'm not going to bother. But I did get a few games off him, 50p each. First one was Conflict Desert Storm 2 on the PS2. Now, this isn't a nostalgic game to me, but a couple of my friends really used to play this game to death. And I did play this one of them the other day, and it is a fairly decent game in all honesty. I wouldn't mind getting a little bit further. It's an interesting squad-based shooter. The graphics are decent enough, and it's still very playable today. I'm not going to say no for 50p anyway. And the next game for 50p, really pleased to find. I played this when I had my PlayStation 2 originally, and I did enjoy it. And it was Devil May Cry. So I'm sure most people are aware of this game. It's a sort of hack and slash action type scenario with some mentalistic moves and some very strange enemies, obviously by Capcom, makers of Resident Evil and Dino Crisis, and I'm looking forward to playing that again. I remember it being very atmospheric. So, next game, you may well hear the music from it in the background, and that is PGA Tour Golf 3 on the Mega Drive. Couldn't really leave it for 50p. I've not got any, well, prior to getting this, I hadn't got any golf games on my Mega Drive, but I used to be mad about them. I mean, what happened was Actual Golf 2 came out, or Actual Golf came out on the PlayStation, and that was a big improvement over PGA Tour, but all the same, these were brilliant games in their time. Obviously the cartridge is in my machine. And yeah, I look forward to having a few rounds of golf on this. So the last game on this video. Really pleased to find this. Unbelievably, the guy wanted 25p for it. I've actually changed the case, so you'll see a sticker on the front, and that's just because it's from a different game. But it's Mortal Kombat Trilogy on the classic label. Now, I've never been a fan of Mortal Kombat games, in all honesty. They're just not really my thing. I just don't get on with the way the moves work. I'm more of a Street Fighter kind of guy. But I was still pleased to pick this up, because obviously it's got a huge cast of characters. It's a traditional 2D Mortal Kombat game. Pardon me. And yeah, for 25p, what can you say? You gotta pick it up. So that's it. So I thank you for watching. Look out for future videos coming soon, and goodbye for now.